Hi crafters, Raquel here with Paints and Glitter. Today I am unboxing the brand new Tonic Craft Kit. This is kit number 85 and it is called Pretty Plant Pot. And I'm just going to take the items out and show you what is included. Every kit does contain Nuvo product, an exclusive set of dies and stamps, and every 3 months you'll get a hard binder so that you can organize your supplies. Every kit will have a sticker. This time around you're going to get the sticker to label your binder as well. And here you have an exclusive stamp set. And brand new, you will also get a 3D embossing folder with some pretty floral motifs. Super pretty, and it will not say Tonic Studios when you emboss it. But here's the little insert. It does give you a listing of all of the supplies as well as a sample project for you to follow. And here are the dies and the instruction sheet that you will find inside of your kit. The dies are going to include a base hexagon with all of the layers that you're going to need to be able to create a pretty 3D box, side panels, and also a lid. Included are also the little side panel there that you can cut out either as a solid or with the intricate die for more detail, and a little border that you can either use as the die or you can stamp and then cut out. There are little hearts and flowers, and there you see yet another panel that will be decorative. The little strips that you see there are little floral dies, and I'll be showing you how to use them. There's a hinge and also a little pick. Inside of the Nuvo bag, you're going to get a glitter marker, and you'll be getting either the color you see here, which is Iced Ivy, or a glitter marker in Honey Gold, along with a large ball embossing tool, a shimmer powder in Ivory Willow. This is a water-based product, or I'm sorry, it is a mica-based product, but you can activate it with water. And then there's a Nuvo drop in Morning Dew, which is clear. The papers included are Brick Red, Yellow, Buttermilk Yellow, Arctic Blue, Bright White, and those four are the classic card, which is 80 pound, with a linen weave on one side and smooth on the other. There's an Opera Red mirror card, and there are two pearlescent cards in the color Gleaming Lilac and Fresh Mint. And the other mirror card that I showed you is the Soft Amethyst, and also a vintage white piece of vellum, which you can color. And here are all the supplies. I'm going to start with the flowers so that you get to see how these are made. What I've done is I've cut as many flowers as I could out of the buttermilk yellow paper, and you can see the centers are a different color. I did use some Nuvo embellishment mousse that I happen to have, and I also colored the vellum. So if you can tell there, it is now beautiful and shiny, and now I can shape all of the flowers using this one tool. On one end, it does have a 3mm ball, and the other is 8mm. So depending on the type of flower that you like to make, you can either use the narrower or the wider end. And if you do use that wider end, as you see me using it there, you will get a softer fold on your paper. And it's wonderful for flower making so you don't get any creases in your paper. You're also going to notice there's a foam on underneath the paper. And you can get a kit from Tonic Studios, which I'll link below, so that if you don't have that type of supply, you can just get it one time and it'll last you forever to make all of your flowers. As you can see here, I also like to at least triple them. So here's a sampling of, for instance, all of the leaves that I cut out. I did use that beautiful Fresh Mint pearlescent card. And then I did create the little flower centers. I'm going to show you how. These will be perfect for the centers of your flowers. And of course, you can use the other papers that are included in the kit. You simply adhere them right to the middle of a flower if you'd like to, as you see here. And it'll change the look of that flower rather than leaving it flat. You can really add some beautiful dimension and just a very, very pretty center. So here's the little strip. You'll be cutting those out, and you will need a quilling tool. That's what I have here. It has a little slit at one end. you simply feed the paper into that slit, and then that will hold the paper for you. You'll then roll that tool and line up the flat edge of that paper. So you can use your hand to just rest that tool on your hand as you roll the paper, and then leave a little bit, maybe half an inch worth of paper at the end. Apply your liquid adhesive, and I do recommend, of course, a deluxe adhesive from Nuvo because it dries nice and quick. And then just roll the paper, remove it from the tool, and allow that to dry. Once it is dry, you can fluff up that little flower, and you can either use these individually, as you see there. You can use it in a grouping if you would like to, or, of course, as I said before, you can add it to the center of your flowers, mix and match the colors, top them off with Nuvo drops if you'd like to. If you like to use the clear drop, which is included in the kit, it's going to look like little water droplets, and it has a beautiful effect. And there you are. And just remember that the Nuvo products are water soluble, so you can use them as if they were watercolors too. So here are other little shapes. And included in your kit, there is a wood grain stamp along with a flower pick and some sentiments. I've chosen the one that says, may your day bloom with joy, and the other ones are your blooming delight, sending love, your array of sunshine, and you're my number one bud. As for the pick, I did cut that several times and layered those pieces together, and there's a little tab at the bottom to help you add it to your flower pot. To proceed with making that, you're going to use the largest hexagon in your kit. Cut that out twice using the papers in your kit, and as you see, I've chosen the white. Then you're going to use the second largest die in your set. Take the same pieces and cut into those two pieces of card using that second die. As you see me laying it there, that's going to create two apertures, and you're also going to have two center pieces. Onto those you can adhere the little side panels, which are triangular, as you see there. So you will need to shape these to get them conform to the shape you'll need, and they do have a little tab at the bottom. So using your paper creaser is the best way to shape all of those to get that paper used to having that dome shape. Then you can use the little tabs on the side to adhere them together. So I do recommend you fold those over first before you add them to that base hexagon. So using that rectangular little tab at the bottom there, just add your adhesive, line it up with the side of the hexagon. So if you notice that that hexagon is either too big or too small, then you'll know that it's not the correct one. However, you want to add these all the way around, as you see there, and apply a good amount of pressure so that you make sure they're all adhered. It's going to look like a little flower, but now you want to make sure you adhere all of those little tabs to that adjacent panel. And what I do here is just add a tiny bit of adhesive and walk this along that edge that I was pointing out, making sure that there are no gaps and that the paper is adhered fully all the way from the bottom to the top, making sure that on the top it doesn't overlap. So it should look like that. And when you get to the end, because there is a very small opening here, what I would recommend is, because you cannot fit your fingers in there to apply pressure, then take advantage of the fact that you can use a little watercolor brush or any other brush or a pencil. What I would recommend is something with a dull end, and what I do is I feed that brush right into the paper, use that as my support, and then apply gentle pressure so that I can adhere all of those little tabs from the bottom all the way to the top and not create any dents in the paper. Those are the results. Once you've got them all adhered, you can flip this over, and with the little piece that you see here on your screen, I've circled that for you, you're going to create a hinge. This is quite small, so you want to go ahead and fold it and crease it. Make sure that it's folded in half. Apply a tiny little bead of adhesive on one of the edges of your dome, and then make sure you apply that hinge with the fold facing the edge. Once that is nicely adhered, there you see the little tab. You're going to cover all of those other little tabs with the second hexagon. And I just added a little bit of Nuvo adhesive here. This is going to dry nice and quickly, but you do want to be gentle because this is a 3D item, so don't press too hard on this paper. Just take your time, and then once that's dry, you have what will be the top of your little box, but you will need your aperture. So make sure you grab one of those hexagons, fold all of the tabs on the perimeter, and when you're done folding them, make sure that you apply pressure with a paper creaser. That way you get some really nice sharp points to this paper. That's going to be really important, and it'll make your box really nice and sturdy. So go ahead and apply some adhesive to the top now of that little hinge. I like to extend the adhesive a little bit when the paper is very narrow. Then lay that right underneath that hexagon and hold it until it's dry. Now you see the hinge on the opposite side. And you will be covering this hexagon a little bit later using the second aperture that you have cut out. However, you will not need the tabs on that second one. So what I'm showing you here is that you can take a piece or a pair of scissors, sorry, and cut away all of the little tabs that go around, and then set that aside, allow it to dry. And let's continue on with the rest of the box. Use the smallest hexagon and the side panels. You'll be cutting those out 6 times. And for my particular little plant pot, I did use the Arctic Blue paper from the kit. I folded all of the tabs as you see here. Make sure you do burnish those as well. If you want a nice crisp fold to your paper, that paper creaser is just wonderful. And now I did go ahead and cut using the side panel the paper in that beautiful soft amethyst, and I've gone ahead and run the papers through my die cutting machine with this gorgeous 3D embossing plate. By the way, there's that floral motif at the bottom. I chose the top one. It has that little scene with butterflies and flowers. It looks like a little wildflower garden, which is perfect for this type of project. And what I've done is just taken my die cutting machine, and of course you want to pay attention to the type of plate recommendation according to the machine that you have. But here you'll see that I'm just going to run this through, and once I run that through the machine with that paper right inside of that folder, I'm going to get that beautiful 3D embossing. Can go ahead and apply the adhesive on the back, and on this occasion I chose the double-sided craft tape from Tonic Studios. It does have a very nice strong adhesion, so that way I could apply these very quickly to the side panels of this little box. Once you've gone ahead and done that, then you can adhere the bottommost tab to the smallest of the hexagons that you would have cut out. You want to do this, of course, all the way around with all 6 of the panels. And once you have those adhered, just make sure to use your paper creaser to apply a good amount of pressure so you get even adhesion all the way around. And because this is going to be a gift box, then of course you want to finish the inside and just cover up all of those little tabs. So of course here you can choose the paper you like. I've gone ahead and used the same. And now you can adhere the side panels. So my recommendation is that you do this gently and walk that paper from the bottom to the top and make sure that that topmost portion there does not overlap, so you get a nice even base. And this will be the result, which will now allow you to add what's going to be the lid. So for here, what I've done is laid that little pot on its side, applied adhesive to the bottommost tab, and you can see there that I'm applying pressure, but I'm also lining up that tab with the top edge of the pot. That's going to be important. And once you have the first little tab adhered nicely, then you can kind of walk this all the way around, applying pressure either from the outside of that little pot or by laying it on its side as I'm doing here and using that blunt edge of the paper creaser. It does come in very handy because it's thin enough to fit inside, and that way you can apply pressure to that paper without damaging that beautiful 3D embossing. And lastly, you can now cover up that outside edge, of that lid, and that's where this other aperture is going to come in handy. So you can choose if you want to cut this out of the same color. I do think it looks really nice if it is the same color as the base. And of course, apply good pressure all the way around to get a nice stick. And lastly, here on the uppermost edge of this little pot, you can apply the little scallop portions there to make it look like a real plant pot. What I've done is, as you could see there, emboss the papers, and then now you can go to town decorating this as you wish. Here are the results of mine. I've added as many flowers as I could fit and the little pick. Now, I did want to mention that you want to be mindful of adding the larger flowers first, but also be careful with the hinge. So that way you can definitely still open this, but there you see the results of that 3D embossing, and there's plenty of room for a little gift. But let me show you a bonus project. Using the white cardstock from the kit, you can take that gorgeous shimmer powder in Solar Flare and go ahead and sprinkle it onto this paper, adding some water. Because this is water reactive, then all of that beautiful color that's inside is going to start to spread out or split. And of course, you can use watercolor card if you choose to. Here is just a nice little example of how to use up the supplies from your kit. So you can apply as much of this as you like. It's all personal preference, but be sure to add the water. It's going to react. You're going to see all those beautiful colors that start popping out. And then be sure to dry this. I'm using my little heater there. And then I have cut these little papers down because I'm making some 3x3 cards. So there you see the results of all those beautiful shimmery colors. And I've also taken the glitter marker included in the kit and colored around the outside edge, and also 3D embossed the vellum. So of course you can cut these out to the size you like, but I'll be using the stamps included. All of the sentiments, are there, as you can see. And now using the little beautiful stamp that's included with the little flowers, I'm going to be stamping them for the matting layer that will go on the inside of the little cards. So of course you can use whichever supplies you already have, and you can even use markers on these stamps if you'd like to. But here's that beautiful mirror card that was in the kit. It was the soft amethyst. I cut those down to 6x3, folded them in half so I could have a 3x3 base. And now I'm applying these matting layers so as to take advantage of all of these beautiful supplies. And it's a wonderful way to not only have all of your supplies go to a nice project, but you can also create a little gift set. So here I've cut those beautiful panels out of the same paper that I had sprayed or sprinkled that little shimmer powder on. And then I do want to color the edge here, as you can see. I did cut that one down, the white one, just a tiny little bit after having cut it with the die, so that way I could stagger it on top of the amethyst color pearlescent card. And this is going to show a little bit of a drop shadow, but I'm applying the adhesive here, and now this is going to go right on the front of my card. So I just chose a side that I thought would look prettiest because the 3D embossing doesn't cover the entire surface at once, and you want to be a little bit more careful with vellum. But here I strategically will place the adhesive right behind the die cut, and then that's going to create the front of my card. You can add the sentiments as you like, and here I've also used the little flowers that I had cut and it's a wonderful way to use up all of those tiny little die cuts. And you can, of course, supplement with any other Nuvo drops that you might have. And I just think that this makes such a darling little set. I think it would be a wonderful gift, especially for maybe Secretary's Day or Mother's Day or Teacher's gift, but you can fill it up now and make someone's day happy. So I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. These supplies are absolutely darling. Don't forget that if you do subscribe to the kits, not only do they come to your home every month, but you get another extra 10% off of every order. Please do subscribe if you're new and hit the notification bell. And as I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed.